Good evening. And when I say good evening, it's freezing. Anti-man-made climate change tonight, most definitely. So I say, isn't it? You've got matter, antimatter, anti or proton, antiproton, gluon, anti-gluon. So we've got man-made climate change, anti-man-made climate change. Tonight, it's anti-man-made climate change. So I have regulars every year, every couple of years, someone will pop in. And they did. Just the other night on one of the platforms. Mate, you're still doing this? Like, yeah, I am still doing this. You getting anywhere? That kind of, yeah. Everything's relative, isn't it? I can't believe I said that. He goes, mate, nobody cares. Go and have a beer. Nobody cares. And you reflect, don't you? And you think, nobody cares. Maybe nobody cares because they are not seeing things from where I'm standing, right? Maybe it's the magnitude of the problem, the lie. It's the magnitude of it all that people are not seeing, right? Now, if I just go off and have a couple of beers, I cannot see anybody else lining up to do this, can you? So, puts me in a bit of a spot, doesn't it? Go and have a beer, nobody cares. My main concern about not doing this, right, because of the obvious lies, right? It's now, we're not even hiding the fact now, are we, that plenty of you dumped your common sense at the door to follow the science. You did. So it's not like when I say, yeah, but no common sense. It's like, it's true. Loads of you say, yeah, common sense has no place in this science. Okay. So, a couple of questions. The people who told you that science doesn't really care about your common sense, did they have common sense? So I was talking about this the other day. If they didn't have common sense, that's something they would have said. So it's a bit tricky, isn't it? Somebody comes up to me and says, science doesn't care about your common sense. I'm thinking, huh? Do you have common sense to be saying that to me? If they said no, it's like, so go and do one then. If they said yes, my next question for myself would be, why is somebody with common sense telling me, he knows I've got a fair bit of common sense because he's asking me to drop it. Why would somebody with common sense tell me that science didn't care about my common sense? So he's keeping his, and he's just asked me to dump mine. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Science doesn't care about your common sense. Now, all of this stuff, most of it, the speed of light and everything that goes with it, it's peer reviewed, isn't it? You love your peer reviewers, don't you? I'll believe you when your stuff is peer reviewed. Okay. Do the peer reviewers, do they have common sense? Because they peer review this stuff, don't they? So you'd think that they'd be in the same boat as you guys, wouldn't they? So maybe the science turned up in various observatories around the planet and stuff and just got hold of a few, all of the scientists, and those that do all the paperwork and stuff, and got them all together. Over here, everybody. Listen, we're going to have some theories coming your way. Now, we've asked the general population to drop their common sense because obviously there's going to be no place for it where we're going. Now, it's imperative that you still peer review this stuff. So do you mind dropping your common sense as well? Because otherwise, none of it's going to get through, is it? And they probably all said, well, it's obvious what they said, yeah. So now, we have them telling you to drop your common sense, right? And all the peer-reviewed stuff everybody's reading is quite bizarre. They obviously dumped all of their common sense. That's if there really is people to peer review, okay? And I am one of the few that still has common sense. So I've got a job on, haven't I? Because I've got to convince all of you lot that don't have any common sense left, that those who are making this stuff up, who do have common sense, have also told the peer reviewers to dump their common sense, because otherwise none of that stuff would get peer reviewed. Because I tell you something, if I was on one of those panels for peer reviewing stuff, the speed of light doesn't get out of the building. And that is a fact. But I'd probably be the only peer reviewer to have common sense. And the others would be going, no. Paolo. We all agree. Huh? The scientists agree. I'd be like, no. How on earth can a path a speed of light travelling at 299,792,458 meters per second when it's clearly absolute? So, Francois, no peer review, okay? Because it will mislead humanity if it passes. So, I can't really just go for a beer, can I? Now, it's concerning because in here, in this advanced level physics book, there's talk of photons. Photons that travel at 299,792 kilometers per second from the sun. But how can that be if when you're looking at an eclipse, the sun is clearly smack bang centered behind the moon? It cannot be. I have common sense. To me, it's more than obvious, right? So this is where I can't go for the beer, because I have to keep going and going until there comes a time when we're comfortable enough with where we've gotten that we can have a day off and sleep, maybe, okay? This and this can't really coexist in the same universe, can they? See, this is where the problem is. Nobody cares. Go and have a beer. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, maybe because nobody's really paying attention yet to what I'm saying. That it's clearly a case of a lack of common sense. But not on my part. There's nothing wrong with my train of thought and the logical thinking that goes behind it. It's bang on the money. But one would need common sense to understand this. But because there is not much common sense going around, people believe anything. And that is one of them. And then we have this here. The atlas of the universe, right? In it, there's tales of galaxies far, far away. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of light years light years with light that is travelling at 299,792 kilometres per second. All of this, all of it, but it cannot coexist in a universe where the light from the sun is absolute, and it is obvious that it's absolute, okay? Then we've always got things like the Encyclopedia of Awesome Space, right? Now, I could open all of these and find the pages, but believe me when I say there are tales in there of the speed of light and light years and how such and such a star is X amount of light years away from us. But there is no such thing as a light year, because it's clear during a solar eclipse when the sun is directly behind the moon that the light radiating from that star is absolute. This means really, to describe a star, or what you when you see a light source in the night sky, this is what should be said. The reason that you are seeing that light source, that star, in the night sky is because it is powerful enough to be detected by your eyesight. That is the reason why you're seeing it. You're seeing it because it is powerful enough to be seen from exactly where it is. If it wasn't powerful enough, you wouldn't see it. Ever. Because the light is not going to travel. Same as Proxima Centauri. You'd think its light would be here by now, but it's not, because it's not powerful enough. Even that one's staring everyone in the face. The reason you see those stars that you do every night when you look up at the night sky is because they are powerful enough to be seen. That's it. If they're not powerful enough to be seen, because they're out of range and you won't ever see them. So the ones that you do see, the light hasn't travelled after the event, after the onset. It's like, boom, they're on. Light. You either see it or you don't. Common sense. Anti-common sense. And it really is about common sense, because only a lack of common sense would believe that there is finite light anywhere in this picture. Purely a lack of common sense, which is why they asked you to drop yours, and it's why I just can't fuck off for a beer. Okay, so got more books there. This one. This book, and the claims that are made in here, simply cannot coexist in a universe where the light radiating from the sun and from all of the other stars in this universe is absolute. None of this stuff can coexist because it's all wrong. You know, which is why I keep coming back and saying it again and again and again, because it's obvious. And no common sense. This has passed. Well, the mega fragments are everywhere, aren't they? So to my regular that pops in once every year and says, "Jeez, are you still doing this? Nobody cares. You might as well go have a beer." Well, I can't go and have a beer, can I? Right? Because I just can't yet, right? So none of that stuff Ooh. Bit of action. Don't know if you heard that, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, can't coexist. This is obvious. You've admitted that you've dropped the common sense by somebody who still has their common sense, and you're believing peer-reviewed stuff. They obviously don't have any common sense. It's coming back to you, and you're feeding it again. And I'm the one with common sense going, yo, hello. This peer-reviewed stuff, if I was on that board, no. So, again, the importance of common sense. If you had any common sense, those who haven't, right? If you had common sense, you'd see this for what it is, and you would know that this universe cannot coexist with that stuff. So as you can see, the problem is quite large. All right, please be not more than a quarter of an hour, 13 minutes. 16:10, that's not bad. All right, peeps, laters.